an approach that seeks to protect the right to choose while reducing the number of abortions. Our vision should be of an America where abortion is safe and legal, but rare.
This is a book that was based around a movement. I remember this trending online. I remember the debate that this started. Shout your abortion.
You have to understand where the phrase safe, legal, and rare came from and why they began using it, which, like so many of the other things that the abortion supporters use, they're meaningless sound bites that sound good, they're easy to repeat, but they don't mean anything.
So when it comes to abortion, the exception always makes the rule. And when you go all the way back to the court decision Roe v. Wade, what was that case? It was a woman who claimed that she was pregnant through rape. And it opened up the entire argument for abortion on demand through all 9 months of pregnancy. So the exception makes the rule. Why was the culture and society compelled to support her? Because she had allegedly, and turned out not really, experienced a rape situation where she got pregnant. But also the other story that was being told in the media at the same time was you have women dying in back alley abortions, women using coat hangers, doing other things to self-inflict an abortion in private in their home, and how dangerous that was. And so one, it was the exception makes the rule. You know, in the case of rape, it's okay, so let's open the door for all. But then, isn't it just so much more compassionate to offer women a doctor to walk with them through this process so that it can be what next became known was safe, legal, and rare?
Again, we just see the hypocrisy of the abortion industry. So early on, the argument was safe, legal, and rare. Abortion should be rare, but we just want to make sure that women are safe so that they're not doing these back alley abortions, by themselves in their home with a coat hanger. That was the scaremongering behind the push to legalize abortion. Now we don't hear any of that. We don't hear anything about wanting women to be under the thorough, good care of a medical professional in those rare circumstances when abortion is necessary. We hear, shout your abortion. We hear, it should be available on demand. Access should be immediate. And the idea of pushing chemical abortions out over the counter would be going back to that place where women are deprived of any sort of medical care. It certainly wouldn't be safe. It would not be rare. And that actually is the goal of the abortion industry. And that's how we see that everything that comes out of their mouth, everything in every lawsuit that they file, trying to strike down common sense health and safety laws, is all for one goal, which is to expanding the number and access to abortion.
Not only do you put women's lives in danger, but if it's a form you're filling out online on a website, it doesn't stop a male predator from filling that out on a woman's behalf and saying how far along she is, what her blood type is, making up a name, making up whatever information he has to make up so that he can have that drug mailed to her. Again, the abortion industry doesn't care about her health or her safety, or they would not allow these doors to be opened up.
What we've seen is stories where the fathers of unborn children have slipped the drug to the pregnant mother and caused abortions without her consent, without her knowing, without her choice.
It is a local story that has been shocking the nation. A boyfriend charged with tricking his pregnant girlfriend into taking an abortion pill, resulting in their unborn child's death.
The other context is in sex trafficking. So in sex trafficking, one thing we know is that the traffickers take their victims to obtain abortions because so long as the victim is pregnant or visibly pregnant, she is out of commission and the trafficker can't make his money off of her. There is a high percentage of trafficking victims who undergo repeat abortions over and over again, coerced, under duress, without their consent. So if chemical abortions were widely available without prescription, without a doctor's visit, those sex traffickers, we can be sure, are going to be ordering those pills in bulk online and administering them to their victims, perpetuating this cycle of enslavement and sexual abuse of young women, often young girls. It's essentially a way to facilitate sex trafficking, to allow chemical abortions to be bought on demand by mail without any sort of medical oversight. It's a scary prospect to think about REMS being removed and abortion pill being something that's on demand, available by mail, available online, available in vending machines on college campuses. This is what the abortion industry wants. This is what Planned Parenthood and their allies are pushing for. And so we know what the goal is. We know what the future of the abortion pill is going to look like if it's up to Planned Parenthood and abortion providers.
Another reason why it's important that the REMS stay in place for Mifeprex is because it ensures the safety of women, and it ensures that complications are followed and tracked. One, it makes sure that a woman is connected to a physician who gives her the pills for the medication abortion, and then she has someone that she knows she can go to see for follow-up. We know that medication abortions have a 4 times higher complication rate than surgical abortions do. We also know that women are at an increased risk of infection from medication abortions, and so they need very close follow-up to be able to monitor for symptoms of that infection, or to have someone to see if they do have signs of an infection.
If you're facing an unplanned pregnancy and you don't know what to do, don't start by going to an abortion provider who, like a used car salesman, is just going to try to sell you a procedure that makes money for them. Go to a place that really cares about you and the baby, because despite what the abortion industry says to you about the accusations that pro-life people are just forced birthers who just want to make you have the baby and then don't care about you afterwards, that's simply not true. There are over 3,000 pro-life pregnancy centers all across the country. Virtually no woman anywhere in the country is more than an hour's drive away from the closest pro-life pregnancy center. These are places where people will welcome you. They will listen to your story. You matter to them. And there are so many implications to such a difficult decision. But come talk to somebody that really cares for you, who is not in it for the money. Because these pro-life pregnancy centers are not going to accept one dime from you, and they're never going to ask you for anything. They are there for you. Start there.
I have talked to a lot of women who have been in unplanned crisis pregnancies who feel the exact way that I did. They're scared. They are trying to see through a foggy, storm-filled lens. They're not thinking clearly. And what I found is that the ones that choose life never regret it. And the ones that choose abortion in some way, shape, or form go on to either regret it or to be heavily impacted and affected by it in their life. And it breaks my heart that they were manipulated and lied to during a time where they were vulnerable and scared. And so if you or someone you know is watching this and are experiencing an unplanned pregnancy, please know that there are ministries, there are nonprofits, there are pregnancy centers, there are people even at your church, your high school, your college, wherever you are, there are people in your community that want to love on and support and pray for you and your child, and that abortion is not the only choice accessible to you.